Welcome back. New in collection, Caught in the Wild. We are listening to Gloomy Reflections with Oath of the Paladins on Crypt of the Wizards. Talked about it in the update from Crypt of the Wizards. Just check back a few. I have a few shirts I'm going to sell. I'm going to start with that. If you're interested, by all means, drop me a line. These are mostly medium, just because I'm not medium anymore. I don't know what I was thinking, but here we go. A rune spell. I'm not going to show them in detail. This is a long sleeve back print and sleeve prints. No bang breakers in here. This is an Eternal Champion Summerlands. Maybe, there you go. There's a big similar logo on the back. Azazel, long sleeve. There you go. This is a large, I think. I don't know. Then a Dark Throne, just a logo, but a textured logo shirt, also large. Then this one I'm really doubting on selling because I love it to death, but this is the Bite is Harder from Cadaver Dog. This is a medium. That will be a hard trade to rest. I don't care. Long sleeve Dark Throne, Under the Funeral Moon. There you go. No old one. A Bad Omen logo shirt. What else is in here? Regnum Tenebrarum. Once again, wrong size, but the artwork kills me, but This is an encoffinized shirt with the two demons busting open a coffin. These two not selling. Then a Mayhem shirt. Nothing too fancy, just a Death Crush. Also a medium, unfortunately. What else is in here? Another heart crushing one. Moon of Sesbet logo shirts. This one, Alkerdale. The one with the Cave Dweller on there. I'm not sure, once again, Piss Jeans one. I have to cut somewhere, but yeah. Large Piss Jeans. I'm not sure what year that is. Venom, Black Metal, medium, nice fade on that one. That's a bit older than the Midnight from the Life Evil Festival 2013. There you go. That one. We are reaching the bottom. This is a gift for someone. Then Alkerdale, an orangey pink one. Coke and Piss with the Dennis Typhus artwork. It's also a medium, yes, a medium, so too small. And then a shirt I bought for a friend of mine who doesn't want it, a Dombo Pop. This is a large, so mostly Gildan, mostly nothing fancy, but yeah. These are going online, so if you are into one of these bands or if you want of these shirts, by all means, drop me a line and we can work something out. There, that was that. Into the records. Yeah, a bunch. So we're playing Gloomy Reflections, said that. To start off with, this is one from Refused Records and Crime Tank Records. This is New Catharsis with a C. Like I said, Crime Tank, anarcho, hardcore, whatever label you want to put on it. I chucked the collection behind me. If you don't know them, they are I guess 90s bands who were heavily into, or the originators of the Crime Tank movement, which is a political movement, ecological movement that I think the outliers or what came out of it, the last parts, for example, is something like Tau, a band that is heavy musically involved, but also heavily political, ecological, socially involved. So in that world. They have a new record. I saw them 2 years ago maybe at Hyperfest, so I knew they were still alive, but I didn't know they were putting out or making new material, but here we go. Like I said, on Refuse Records, I think from Germany, and Crime Tank, they have that bullet. Rumor is the Crime Tank thing burned down and they have a lot of leaflets, pamphlets and booklets, so not sure. I never had that corroborated, but yeah. Nice slab of black vinyl. There were a few versions. I think the first press is already sold out. Now, sound-wise, if you know something like Samsara, for example, or Passion, it was, especially the track Bow Down is maybe more familiar to some people, is very snarly, angular, hardcore, very aggressive. That kind of disappears on this one in favor of some more sludgy sounds. I hear notes of maybe something like Amon Ra in here, maybe pulled down or slowed down. There's definitely some Tao reverberated into this. So yeah, not a bad record at all. There's female vocals on here, or I noticed some female vocals, but not on all tracks. Brian's vocals are still reigning supreme. Big booklets, artwork, and lyrics, and then, you know, stuff like this popped up on Tao records too, so I think there's a bit of give and take here. But yeah, good record. Like I said, I had no expectations of a new Catharsis, but yeah, For All Against All, is that the title? No, Hope Against Hope. So yeah, if you're into Catharsis and you missed it for some reason, there is a new one, and they are already repressing it. It's basically, you know, a recapturing of the Passion artwork that they had on there. I don't know when this is from. Yeah, I don't know, somewhere 90s. There we go. This is Passion. Pink on the other side. Actually, a very nice one. It's not on Crime Tank. This is on Scorched Earth Policy from Germany once again. So there's something cool on the insides. There you go. Macabre Dance. And yeah, that one is on Good Life, and the other two are bootlegs. The one above is the Eat Fight Fuck Gehenna Live at CBGB's, and then this one is Live in the Land of the Dead. Yeah, on the Dutch printing label. There you go. See how that connects. Very cool poster with the Arsonist prayer on the B side. So yeah, enough on Narco, I guess. From Catharsis with a C. I actually recommend it if you're into, you know, the band. You go to Catharsis with a K. This is the 666 records. This is by no means an original, because the originals are fetching 600 to 1,000 euros. These are also going up in price, and these were a true. It's not a release of Somber Records, but I don't know who pressed these. I have no idea. I'm blanking on where I got this. Through a label, but I think Nabil kind of hyped me to the fact that they were selling stuff. So I jumped on the opportunity. Commando Metal, yeah, this is overstock or overrun, I think, because strictly limited vinyl edition. This is copy, and then it's, you know, unsigned. So the distributor or the label that had them, or the distro that had them, just put out a release like, hey, we still have copies if you want one, get it. So yeah, it was obtainable, but now it's already, you know, selling for, I don't know, stupid amounts for basically a bootleg. This is close to the, or as close to the original as you can get. A side and B side. I'm not sure the band is involved. I can imagine it's not, or they are not. I'll ask my buddy Kras. Maybe he knows, but yeah. They did a nice job because the insert are kind of mimicked on this one. Got lyrics, and then we have the classic Commando Metal warrior that is on the cover. So yeah, finally, good to have this in a form. Like I said, if records hit the triple-digit mark and a 4-digit mark, it's, you know, out of reach, unless you are a real dedicated fan of this band, which I'm a fan of this band, but not for that long. So yeah, that was basically an order, which is cheating, I guess, but anyways. Cheers. Then, a record fair in my town held at Vol.13, which is, if you are very local, is the old Musicodrome, the place where the shows went off that were in my vicinity or in my neck of the woods. Now they became Vol.13, and they had a day of music, I guess, because there were workshops and blah blah blah. None of that interests me, but they had a record fair with a few stands or a few stalls. One of them was Almondo, but there were also guys that were just selling their records. One of them sold me this one. This was the last one in his bin. This is Nick Heist. I don't even know if there's a title. I think just self-titled. This is not the original. This is the reprint on, I don't know, Rough Trade or something. One of those labels. Drag City from Illinois. Nick Heist is, what is Nick Heist? The roadies and the crew from, Black Flag that played in between shows or before Black Flag played here and there. They were kind of a joke band, but kind of not. It's a kind of a weird thing. It's like, if you had a stand-up comedian, but then if I was to put it somewhere and I didn't have Black Flag records, I would put it next to Ween or something like that. It's one of those things. But then older. So Robo, I don't know if their names are on here. This album was made by Spot, Mugger, and Davo, so Robo's not on here, I guess. Additional vocals and slurps by Mimi, Karen, and CV, aka the Muffalos. Life in general, love in your mouth, if she ever comes, hot mouth, balls on fire, stuff like that. It was a super cheap record, so I just picked it up. This is actually a compilation because there are album outtakes on here, like Whore Pleaser and Walking Down the Street, which was originally put out on 7-inch. Yeah, there you go. That's all I know about it. I just knew the name from all the looking into Black Flag at some point, so I decided, there you go, Big Dick, Big Muff. That will return in a few moments, but in a different color. And then there was this nice Raymond Petitbon artwork. So turn it off, man. What's that, Elvis? It sounds like some N-word. Can't say it. There's something here I should have read, I guess. But born in the early 80s, as with Jesus himself, their birth date is more open to conjecture than the actual date of their demise until now. Nick Heist took an early place among the groups of loftier intentions. Mugger, that's it. Petitbon wrote this in 97, so the borderline between pop and rock has always been a nebulous one. Frequently a group that has succeeded in appealing to one is rejected by the so-called experts, aka or e.g. Joe Carducci, who claim the twain shall never, shout it out loud, never be met. So cool record for not that much money. It's one of those novelty records that you don't put on a lot, but I think if Petitbon is on a record, I am tempted to buy it just because of the artwork value rather than the musical value on this one. But hey, there you go, Nick Heist. From the other dealer, there were 3 that were not affiliated to a label or a store, just personal salesmen. This is from Eric. Kind of blanking on his last name, but I don't think he cares. I don't think he's going to see this. He had a lot of good shit. Black Flag, for example, a lot of punk, a lot of metal also, but yeah, a lot of variety. I picked up Christian Dead, an official anthology of live bootlegs. Once again, not an original pressing of this, but not important in this case. This is, like the cover states, an official anthology of live bootlegs. So live shows, Valor, Ross Williams, Gitan Damon, and David Glass. These are all from, if I look at the back cover, Faithfully Yours, Christian Dead. These are Amsterdam 85, 84, Los Angeles 81, London 86, Dusseldorf 84, stuff like that, 83. So yeah, early 80s to mid 80s. This came out on Nostradamus Records, I guess in London, and Jungle Records, maybe originally to Jungle. This is the re-release. I'm not sure what the original looked like. I think the same, but a bit different. And then there was a pink vinyl variant. But yeah, this is the Black as Hell. I think for Christian Dead, black is not a wrong color. Christian Dead is it's hard to place actually. I showed Theater of Pain not that long ago. They're a fairly new band to me in the sense that I knew of their existence. They were always in the periphery of bands that I liked. But for example, they're in together with Bauhaus and maybe something like Typo, or I don't know, harder to classify, but dark, no wave, punk, cabaret, stuff like that. So interesting, but yeah, Theater of Pain still remains the top record. Then, before we delve into the last pack of records, because this is going to be a short one, a fair warning, this is all typo negative. I have been on a serious binge. I don't think the last one held because, or held typo, maybe shirts from the Reanimators, but yeah, be warned, if you're not into typo, the last part will, or the middle part will not be of your fancy. Shirt first, typo negative, Black Number One, one of their more fancier tracks that people know them by, but the shirts are impossible to find originals. The original shirt for this is a lot less colored, more black and white with a hue of green, while this is just pure green. This is not a Blue Grape, not an original, and not a bang breaker. I just grabbed it for the hell of it from Necro Threat. Now, as with most secondhand goes, sometimes you get a bit of a stinker, so this has to be washed again, I guess. It doesn't reek, but it has a smell, so there you go. The other thing I got clothing wise for fall is this one. This is from Dog London, the typo negative Team Prozac, which is incredible. I think Team Prozac, the thing, is obviously a bootleg by Dog London. They also have a Anal Cunt, I think, and now they have a Poison ID shirt, I think, but they're a store in London that does vintage, like Reanimators. But yeah, actually a very good quality cap, very sturdy, very hard. It always gives me a headache because it pinches, but still very good. I think this is from the back of some shirt. I'm blanking on which one, but yeah, Team Prozac. I laughed when I saw this one. I picked it up. He's incredibly helpful with getting stuff through customs and stuff like that, so if you're hesitating on that part, just drop him a line and he'll sort that out for you. There, that's Le Vêtement. Now into the records. First one is from the same record fair that the Christian Dead and Nick Heist came from. I was almost out of the door because I saw this one and I was under the impression like, yeah, it's going to be one that I don't need, because I'm looking for, if it's a re-release, I'm looking for the 20 to 21 black and green re-releases of the records, which will come up. But I checked it again, and this is a later one. This is Dead Again by Typo, or Typo Negative. Pete Steele and the Boys. This is from their later period, 2007. Later period in the sense that we're not in the 90s anymore, and this was almost at the end of their career due to the unfortunate death of Peter Steele. There is a botany card which came with the shirt. So yeah, there's this one. I went back in and just checked it once again because the price was actually too low for what it was in there. That's why I didn't jump on it immediately. So I went back and checked it again, and this was the original, or one of the original pressings on Steamhammer, not a later release. But there you go. The 4 dames on the back. That again, Tripping a Blind Man, The Prophets of Doom, September Sun, Halloween in Heaven. Not classic tracks, not a classic record by them, but I think all the records are classic just because of the time period was so short that, short, beginning of the 90s until, late 2000s, but they didn't make too much, and they didn't make too much stinkers. There's the question if they're camp, if they mean it. I've seen it pop up here and there. It's whatever you want. I still hold them in high regards in the sense that they made incredible music for their time, which is basically unclassifiable. If you go from Carnivore to Typo Negative, it's all pretty their thing. I'm not going to say it's all Peter, because Mr. Silver on keyboards creates this soundscape. He's not really playing keyboards, he's just layering and producing the sound together with the bass playing that Peter does, the guitars, all of them. But yeah, whatever it is, we're against it, like Groucho Marx, Products of Villains. So yeah, it was an original for a Steele, actually. I even tried to get some off, but he was selling it for a friend of him. Here we go. Steamhammer Wings, German label. And these, if you look it up, it is not the original, I think this was the second pressing or something like that, or the repress, because the original was an opaque green. This is more of a see-through or a clear green, if you will. Yeah, that again, side 4 and side 3. And this was actually a Steele. I couldn't believe it. That's why I let it be, because I thought it was, a later repress. Yeah, there you go. All the lyrics. The other record is basically the same color scheme. I think everything here is the same color scheme, black and green. But there you go, the chalk outlines for that one. So that was the first one. The second one, and I got these next two together just in a random order. I was in Antwerp last time when I picked up the shirts, and they had some of the records on in a store. I'm not going to say which one because I'm going to be negative. But they were so overpriced that it was insane. I think they were asking close to 80 and maybe close to 100 for re-releases. So I did the weird thing and checked Discogs and found a few cheaper versions of these. This is the case of holding out for originals, but not affordable anymore, so I just took my shot and went for some more. I have World Coming Down, and I think I have the Black #1 records. But yeah, these were missing from the collection. This is October Rust, and I'll change the record out before we start. So yeah, that was going to distract me when it stopped playing, so just get over it. I have Bloody Kisses and I have World Coming Down in the same colorscape as these. These were the around the 2021, 2022 mark. They released them all on black and green, so I opted to again go for these. This is October Rust, maybe my favorite out of the bunch. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. We Are the Vandals. Is there a problem with one of your speakers? You should probably check the connection. No, wait, it's working now, isn't it? It's the classic put you on a verkeerde been or a false leg. I don't know how to translate it. This is a very good record. It has tracks like Background and track 3 are like static, and then they joke around a bit, and then Love You to Death, Be My Druid is unbelievable tracks. Green Man also, that was what I got the shirt from. Red Water is maybe one of the best. My girlfriend's girlfriend is debatable. They always have, with the music video, it's debatable. That's the campsite in my opinion. I don't know why they did it. Maybe it's because they needed a single, and I don't think they needed a single, but whatever. It was one of the tracks that put them Black #1, and my girlfriend's girlfriend put them on the major platform when MTV kept pushing them through clips, through Beavis and Butthead, through Headbangers Ball, all those things. Where I got to know him is through Beavis and Butthead actually, but all of a sudden my dad had this one. I had the Bloody Kisses on CD, and it was one of those two girls kissing on the cover CD, so I kind of listened to it here and there, but I didn't understand it at the time, mainly because I was too young, I guess, and getting into hardcore. But yeah, unbelievable tracks on here once more. Cinnamon Girl maybe a bit less, but Wolf Moon is incredible, and then Haunted is my favorite track. When that break comes, I heard the term frisson, which is when you get goosebumps or the hair stands in the back of your neck, but that does it here. These are Run Out Grooves Roadrunner products of Vinland. I showed the inside. Like I said, these are the black and green marbles. There's some light green, dark green. Very nicely done. Mark gave me or sold me the first one of these, was World Coming Down, for a very reasonable, almost cheap price. But yeah, that started it off, the collecting habits. Weird little poster that came with it, very colorful. But yeah, there we go, Pete Steele screaming his ass off. It's cool, I guess. And then I put this in, but I showed this before in the last video, the Vinland Liberation. There we go. Kinda belongs to this record. Then, in the same vein and in the same order, I went for the Origin of Feces, now live at Brighton Beach. There, I guess if you want to be a Puritan about it, their second full length. But this is actually a record that they kind of did, that's the story, to please the, or to appease the record company. It is a record that has a lot of covers on here, like Hey Pete is like Hey Joe, Paranoid, their cover from the Black Sabbath song, There's Kill You Tonight, a reprise. So there's a lot of tracks that were already published or written before this record came out, and then they made it kind of a live or a fake live bootleg with, you know, the crowd shouting at him, cheering at him, calling them names. He's talking back to the crowd. It's, you know, it's not their best, but it's definitely not their worst. It's kind of a cool concept album between, you know, the first and the second one. Factory sealed for your protection. Peel to scratch and sniff. Didn't have the heart to get it off because I'm not interested in Pete Steele's bumhole, but yeah, to use a Beavis and Butthead term. Express yourself, just say yes. The Suicide artwork came true, and then the Dur, obviously. There you go, the Origin of Feces. Yeah, live at Brighton Beach. There's a lot of info on here, so these are really well done records. No poster, no. The records themselves, once again, black and green. They have the logo, or the gear logo, and then the other one is the other way around. There is a poster, look at that. There's the Skeleton Dance, and this is the CD artwork of the Origin of Feces they did. Yeah, very cool. The Skeleton Dance, or the Dance of the Dead. That is the third one. Get it? And then the last one for them is, and I had to pull the trigger on this. This is Slow, Deep, and Hard, their first one. After the two I got from Carnivore, which the self-titled showed up in the last Caught in the Wild, I just, you know, focused on this one and tried to get it. I almost got it once, then got it again. It slipped through my hands, and then finally I was able to obtain it. This is the one with the ex-Carnivore warning explicit lyrics hype sticker still on the cover, with the original inner. This is an original on Road Racer, so the I don't know Road Racer, Road Runner, which is the American version or the European version. I think this is the European version because it has, you know, marketed by Roadrunner Productions, and then Amsterdam distribute in the Netherlands by Sony Music, and then, you know, the entire list. So this is their first one, and this is the kind of a transitional record. I think Origin of Feces is also still in transition. I think with Bloody Kisses was that the third one. I'm not sure. They made the full transition to God. The keyboards kind of took over. It was kind of more the sing style. Well, this is more still the barking New York hardcore, if you will, influence, because he was also involved with that scene, writing songs or lyrics for something like Agnostic Front, so he was also in there from Carnivore, I guess. So this is still kind of that sound that Carnivore, it's not really crossover because they make their own crossover in some weird way, but yeah. The more negative. Here's the original 4. But yeah, it's such a cool record, such a good find. I didn't pay too much, and these go for 100 and up, 120, stuff like that. This is a fairly decent copy to find with the inner and the, it has some wear, but what do you expect? To find with the inner sleeve and you know, everything you want on it. Additional musicians: the Benson Hoist Lesbian Choir, or the BLC, all songs written by Peter Steele. Bass B, bass P, guitar K, the synths J, and then drums S. drums, vocals, wrenches and pliers, pile drivers and blast furnace, all earth and bears. Summer, white, new, lunar phase, bonds, 114, hatred, diamond, west, pirates. There you go. It's the original printed in green. There you go, the huge thanks / fuck off list with lyrics. Stay negative. Apologies to J.S. Bach and to the good people of Marine Park, Brooklyn, to obtain merchandise. The negative reaction, blue grape. There you go. There we go. Road Racer logo. So Roadrunner, but then, you know, I think the European branch of that logo. Yes, I think for now my thirst is quenched a bit. I have the records, the originals are, like I said, a bit harder to find and a bit harder to obtain, but yeah, we'll see where we get. Slow but steady wins the race in this case. Then, last but not least, I played this one in the last records. Cheers. To the people who are still here after typo. So yeah, No Future. I showed this one or played this one in the last video. What this is a band consisting of the two brothers from In Solitude, which, if you know the channel, I mean, I even called this In Solitude, with Eric from Wat13 on drums, which is also very atypical. And then for the, I think on record there's one more, I think the second guitar, no, the bass player was the guy from Reveal. So it's all just a big bunch of friends or people knowing each other. Excuse me, and then live there's one more. Because live videos keep popping up now, they're, you know, playing live, they're playing Brussels, I hope they will play England, but we'll see. Record came out, the self-titled on, it says here Dolda Barn, Music and Voorlag. There were two labels presented. The 7-inch is also on Dolda Barn, but it's also on Sepulchral Voice, and then I'm blanking on the European division of that, but something with an I and an A, I'm not sure. They had this one, I just immediately went to the site because I was under the impression that Charlie Crypto Wizard was going to put it out. He just posted, but he meant I will have it in the store soon, so I don't know who. Someone on Instagram said like, hey, I'm waiting to see where I can get it, and then it clicked in my mind like it's not on Crypt. So I just immediately went there. I've been hunting for tapes, I mean the self-titled tape or the demo tape since 2012, 2013, something around that. They were very obscure. They were always, it was always kind of known who was in there, but not really. I think my my main interest was Eric from Wat13 doing something else than Wat13, but yeah. They had this one, and this is from 2016, I think, but I'm not sure. But yeah, here we go. This is a 7-inch that holds some tracks that made it to the full length. Main Corpse, which is a, I guess 7-inch only. February, and then Rammelswegen or Wagen, I'm not sure. This is No Future 3. They have another 7-inch and I think about 2 tapes, something like that. But yeah, all of a sudden they still had this in stock, which is cool because the last 7-inch, I was at Live After That too when that came up and sold out. There you go, just a black 7-inch, nothing too much, nothing too fancy. I don't think the sound really changed. I mean, maybe re-recorded for the full length, but yeah, there we go. This is the fold over cards. This is the back of that. It was limited to 500 and this is copy 398. Next release, DDL Volume 7-inch. So it's, you know, that group of people you should look in the Uppsala hard scene, Uppsala hard style. So yeah, the 7-inch was there, which was a surprise to me. I was under the impression that was going to be a re-release because it's still up. I'll link. I didn't link the last time because it's always the same links. It's Horrible Room. It's, you know, it's all those bands. But then this beast. This is the No Future. Yeah, since 2012. So that's what, 20 years later almost. I'm not sure. I can't count. The full length. This is a fold over cover. That is an extra cover for once, not just a fold over. It says here the next release on Dolda Barn is No Future live in Tampere, so in Finland, cassette, and this was limited to 1,000. This is 617. It is all hand pasted, hand folded, hand pasted. This is a, like you can see, this is a photo on there or a print with a stamp. So they put some work into these records. There is a collage lyric sheets. These are all random colors. There's purple, green, blue, yellow. I have the red one. There we go. Double-sided. It has 2016 rights again, so that's the track of the lyrics of the first track. Recorded in 2015 to 2024 in Dodabach and Studio Galberg. Oysterplan by No Future and Marcus Eckerberg. Mixed by No Future. Live photos by Sarah Gewalt. Bella Amann, Gottfried Amann, Lucas Heger, Olof, I think, Stolt, and Erik Danielsson. So yeah, that's the full lineup. 2 members, I think, Reveal. I'm not sure where the other one is from. Yeah. Then this is the actual cover, I guess. Nobody knows this one because this was tucked away. Sound-wise, it is... I love this. I really love this. It's just a flag with no one. Sound-wise, my expectations were so high that whatever they did, they couldn't match it, because in my head it was going to be, you know, this incredible melange between In Solitude and Rotain and Reveal and this and that, and it kind of is, but it takes so much more than 1 or 2 listens or spins to finally get into what they are and what this is. Second time or the third time I spun it today, and I kind of heard the Doors here and there. There's of course the biggest In Solitude reference because it's the vocals, but yeah, it's something else than In Solitude. Don't expect it to be as rocking or as driving, I think, all the time. It is in some parts, it is in, you know, they have this weird repetition in some things going on, just the song builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, so there's a lot to get into, and to put my finger on it in 1 week would be a disservice to the bands, with them recording it from 2015 until now. So yeah, there's much to unpack in this record. If you are into one of the bands I just mentioned, it is well worth picking up, and if these are gone, these will, you know, I guess, be as hard to obtain as all the other stuff that they put out. Now, if you're holding some of this stuff, 7-inch or tape-wise, and it's just not your cup of tea, I'm down to trade, I'm down to buy, as always, so please drop me a line. If you have original typo, please drop me a line. Black metal will always be a thing on this channel, but, you know, like I said on last time, how many times can you listen to or describe the same sounds in a way, until there becomes, or there will be some more variation in that. I think it will focus on something different for the time being. But yeah, as we both know, or as we all know, that will be the case for five weeks, and then we'll be back. So, like I said, if you have No Future, especially the other 7-inch, get in contact. I'll, you know, blow you. That's it. Another one in the back. I think about one, maybe half an hour. Once again, Catharsis with a C, with a K. What more do you want? I mean, it's all pretty exciting. Bye. Peace.